Okay, Lisa. Woo! CVT lesson of Sweet Lynch with Dying Rose. You want to tune flat for this, and this is first guitar, so basically all the rhythm section of it, and then I got the intro solo, and then the next one will catch all the other Lynch bits. If Lynch was my friend, as I said, I'd shake his hand and smack him. He's that good. And man, what do you think of Michael Sweet's voice on this song? This is just killer, you know, because I grew up in the 80s, man, so I was playing in 82. You know, Stryper was out with Loud and Clear, and Dokken had, you know, Under Lock and Key and all that stuff. So what a cool mix to put Michael Sweet and George Lynch together. I think this song just has like hit all over it, man. I wish him the best with this because it is totally catchy. In a strange way, man, there's like elements that remind me of The Hunter with some of Lynch's stuff. Just a couple little parts, but it's like Lynch is always evolving, man. And I love that about him. And Michael Sweet is all over the place. I mean, his voice speaks for himself. Man of integrity, man. Loves the Lord. Blah, blah, blah. But anyways, that's not why you're having me do this. So let me come in close and let's break this down for you. I just played the first guitar on the intro. Everything's notated in the tabs. Tons of techniques. Thank God I used a pencil with an eraser on it because I had to go back. I told you the speaker incident. I had to go back and forth, man. And then I noticed on my iPhone you can hear the higher frequencies a little better, so I had to erase a few more things. But I feel real confident on this, man. So, section 1, guitar 1. We're going to go middle finger 3E and third finger 3G. And put your first finger on 2G, so you're going to have those on the same string. There's a reason for that. And with the angle of the middle finger here, it should be muting the A string as well. Okay, so what you want to do is check that first. There's the mute. You want that. Open D, and then we got the third fret off the G string. So you're going to strum those 4 and pull off to the second fret. Just snap that finger down. And then an open G. You're going to see holds on your tabs, letting you know when to leave the fingers down, when to lift them. All that stuff's important, especially with songs like this. So you're still hearing the root up here ringing as you're playing the melody of the chord. All right. Then third finger 3D. You're going to play that twice. Make sure the angle of your third finger is up on this because you want to play the D string third fret twice and then an open G. It's a hold, so they're both ringing together, and then back to the 3D. So you have the 2 notes against each other type thing. So, okay, first finger 2D, third finger, or middle finger 3A, and you're going to play that twice. Vibrato, pull off to an open. It happens kind of quick. You know, you'll have... It's actually like a little tie that leads you into the next 2 parts that I'm going to show you, which is 3-5 AD to 1-3 AD. You can almost not hear it, but it's in there. Alright, so... kind of break this into quarters. That's the first quarter. You're going to start it back for the first 4 things. Okay, you'll have... So you'll see that in your tabs. And then this part. Bar the third fret on the D. This is the part that just gave me a little hint of The Hunter for some reason. You'll go 3-3-6. D, G, and B. So just bar that. With your index, we got the 6 on the B, and then make sure I'm right before I say all that. Yeah, and then you're going to hammer on to make it a power chord. So the third finger is going to hammer to 5th fret on the G string, coming off the 3rd fret. That's why you want to bar it like that. And then you're set for the next part. Strum those 3 and slide it a whole step. Whole step is 2 frets. So you're just taking this power chord plus the octave is what that is. You're going to slide it to 5, 7, 8, slide it back to 3, 5, 6. So. And then 3, 5, A, D, slide to 5, 7, so it's another whole step slide. And then 3rd fret A, vibrato. Oops. Okay, then that's the midpoint. Then you're back to the first one that we did, up to a certain point, I gotta show you. Up till you get to the 3rd fret A, you do that twice, so you recognize all the rest of that. And then this part. The walk up, you're going to go 3, 5, 6 on the A string. Use finger 1, 3, and 4. When you get up to the 6th fret on the A, we're going to build a chord here, so it's going to go. In other words, that note's going to stay ringing as you play barred the 3rd fret on the B, G, and D. There's the chord. So you'll go. After you catch the 6A, that's going to keep ringing. Play the 3rd fret off the B, and then palm mute the 3rd fret on the G and D after that. So, and then this cool little run here that Lynch does. It's a power chord, 3, 5, D, G. Hit those two. Lower your thumb. You need that for like extensions when you gotta stretch further. It's restricting if you have it up here. So I haven't heard you, well, I might have heard you play once, Lisa, but I don't know. Some of these little things you may know. But we're dealing with Lynch here, so it's a master. You're gonna hammer to 7 on the G with your pinky, pull it off back to 5, pull it off to 3, and that's all just with one initial power chord strum. And then pick the 5G after that. So, and then 1, 3, A, D. And there's, you know, I think I mentioned there's multiple guitar parts in here too. Because initially I had, and then when I listened right before it came out here on my iPhone, it was showing the highs a little more, and I heard. So we're gonna go with that. Palm mute the 5th fret on the D. As a matter of fact, bar it to where it covers the D, G, and B. And you're gonna go 6B. So it's basically 2 palm mutes on the 5th fret D, and then no palm mute, hit 5, 5, 6 D, G, B. And then do that again, but it's all 5, 5, 5. And it was hard to tell if it was like a kind of a fret hand mute Lynch was doing, but go with the, and then that kind of slides into nothing. Well, not into nothing. It's actually going to slide into this open D and G. So, oops. That rings through. Don't worry, I got you that cool Nashville riff that's in there. But that's going to be at the end here when we move into, like I said, I got some of guitar 2 in here with that intro solo. Section 2, guitar 1 is this. And I got to flip the page over. A good thing I wrote clean on this. All right, so 3rd fret E, 1st finger. And what you're going to do is, hold on a second. I wish all that section fit on one page. I gotta flip it back. So the 3, then go middle finger 4G. You're gonna pick, hammer onto the 5th fret. Right back to the 4th fret. You're already there, right? So we have 3rd finger 5D after that. And then 3D, 4G, 3D. That's a hold. So that's notated in your tabs. In other words, you don't want to go. Keep them ringing. And then loving this part too, little Eddie Van Halen-ish. You'll go open D, 3G twice, 2-5 DG, and 3-7 DG. And like I said, man, the thumb will need to be low back there. Now I can officially turn it over here. This one we can split into quarters as well. You know from watching my YouTube channel, I talk a lot in subgroups and splitting a section into quarters, because a lot of times the first and third may be the same. The second may be a variation, and the fourth may be a variation. You know what I mean? So then you start that over again. But the chords are changed now, the order of them. It'll go. So open 3 DG twice, grab the 2-5 DG, but slide it, and this might be tricky because the D string slides a half step, the G string slides a whole step, so keep the thumb low, and then go right back to 2-5. So then you go back to the main hook again, which is prime example. In the sections in this part, the first and the third are the same. The second was the prime example. Okay, so the next section comes up. That is, hold on a sec here. Yeah, it'll start the first part of it over. So you'll play the 3E, the 4G hammer to 5, pick the 4G, 5D, 3-4-3 DGD, it's a hold. So all of these start with that. And then you have these altered endings. Alright, so on this one, you'll move into 1-3 AD, then that's a rest, it's going to ring, and then go to 3-5 AD, hit those, slide it a whole step. Remember, a whole step is 2 frets, so that's 3-5, sliding to 5-7. You don't pick the 5-7, the slide's going to ring that out. So, and then go back to 3-5 AD and strum those. So it's prime example of how you can subgroup in just a power chord progression, just taking that. You know, this could be a subgroup. Right? Okay, section 3. Guitar 1. Okay, so this is a really cool part, man. Yeah, I gotta refresh my memory on the beat. I mean, there's nothing even up yet on this. I think there's a snippet on YouTube of this, but alright, so we have, hold on a sec. Yes. Okay, so, and if I told you what went through my mind on how to remember beats, because I've only heard this song for a couple days, on this part, Jimmy, Jimmy, Cocoa Pop, something that stupid, man, like, but the beat of it stuck in my head. Jimmy, Jimmy, Cocoa Pop, or Cocoa Puff, whatever the word is, but you know, I remember hearing that phrase, so that beat's in my head now. I just gotta get used to the chordings. Alright. There it is. So. And you'll hear this is in there too. So let's jump into it. 3-4 DG. This is if you're first and middle. You're gonna, and it's kind of staccato, choppy on this first half. You're going to play it once, and And then go to, don't change the fingering, but go third finger 5D, keep the middle on the 4G, and actually keep this down too, because you will be going back to it. So it's, when you go to the 5-4, you're going to hammer on with your pinky to the 5th fret G, and then just lift it off and hit 5-4 where it sits, and then the 5D, which is already sitting down. So we have, that's the Jimmy Jimmy, that part. Dang it. Lynch is throwing some guitar twisters at us, man. So to finish it, go 3-4. We're there. That's why I wanted you to keep that finger down. Play it twice. And then go to 5-4 DG. So you don't have to do all this finger movement with a lot of these, because Lynch is going back to some of these same chords and notes that your finger may already be sitting on. So, and then double pull off. You're going to go 3G, pulling off to 2G, pulling off to open. So you want to set them both down like dominoes. So, all right, it's just that. Pick, pull, pull. And then 1-3-3 ADG. You can bar here, use 2 fingers if you want. Remember the little things like muting underneath the low E so you don't accidentally hit it. And that'll be 2 times. And then an open A. And then 1-3-3 on the E, A, and the D. So we have. And I'm trying to grab every little thing in here. There's like a, after you go, like this little muted harmonic that's coming in, and it's slightly past the 3rd fret on the G. You just gotta barely go past it. Not a big deal, but it's there. So, and it comes in on the end. Da, 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 da. No, maybe it's right on the beat. Da, 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 da. It's on the end. Okay, then this part. Love this part. Oops. Grab the 3rd fret on the E, first finger, middle finger, go to the 4th fret G. This has kind of like a King's X kind of, like Ty Tabor did little things like this, but this is Lynchified, you know. You'll play the 4th fret G a half step, and this happens so quickly, so you want to, you don't want to release the half step bend. In other words, you got to take your hand and pick either or both, and then bring it back so it doesn't go. He does that next though. You'll go. It's just quick. So it's a half step stop and then a half step bend release. 5D, 3rd finger. 3-4 DG. Palm mute the 3. 3-4 DG again. Hit it again. And hammer to the 5th fret on the D. Make sure when you do the hammer that you gotta be careful when you're hammering to an above string on guitar, because it's very easy to mute out the underneath string, and that'll turn a really cool sounding thing into something real thin. So Hendrix was good at that. Like he would do the double stops, you know. And it's important. That's what I'm talking about, the thumb too. The lower that is, that frees you up. So 1-3 AD, palm mute the 1, and then 3-5 AD, slide to 5-7, and then strum the 3-5. So it's, let me see, try it again. Oops. So we have, it's hard to read it and play it at the same time. It is. Dang it. Because I'm looking at the paper. Let me try not to look at the paper. Got it. Okay. Then we move to page 3. As a matter of fact, we need to go to part 2.